Cingari here with Ken Shamrock, who joins me all the way from Reno, Nevada today to discuss his controversial loss at Bellator 149. Ken, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing okay.
So let's get right to it. This has been a very devastating time for you. You're very upset about the Bellator 149 loss to Royce. Break down that fight for our viewers if you can.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time training for this fight. I was 3 months away from home. My family sacrificed a lot for me to be able to go and do this. We knew this would be one of the last fights I was going to do. And I had really worked hard with Guy Mesger and brought Frank in as my corner man. So bringing in all the old school lanes then to just, go out with a bang. This was really important to me. And so as training went on, I felt great. We get to the venue. Everything is good there. Tried to put our past behind with me and Royce, made sure he knew I'm not getting in his face. This is about two legends getting in there and settling our differences and then walking away with both of us being able to shake each other's hand. And so this was a not just a fight for me, but it was a fight for the fans, and it was a fight for Royce. It was a fight for our legacy to end it on a good note.
Right.
And I played that out all the way through the weigh-ins and the press conferences, and giving my respect, and understanding that going into the ring, though, I'm going to do my job. And the fight happens, and we had a game plan. It's working to a T. Cut the ring off, use footwork, make Royce throw all his stuff, make him do all the hard work, force him to make the clinch or the shot. We felt we were able to counter him better that way, not chasing him, making him work hard. We got that to happen. We get into the clinch. I knee him in the face. He immediately steps back, and I got to be careful with my words, but throws a knee directly into my groin. I wasn't moving. I wasn't dancing around. I wasn't trying to avoid him. I was right where I wanted to be and not where he wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And he threw that knee. There was no reason for him to land a low shot like that, because if a guy's moving, I understand it. Or if you're standing and spacing in and out, I get it. It can happen. But we're professional athletes. Mm-hmm. When we throw something, we're responsible for the direction of our punches and kicks and knees and elbows. Where they land, we are responsible for that because we are professionals. Mm-hmm. And if by chance something happens, then we have to take responsibility for that action. Whether the referee doesn't, the athlete does. I can think back to the very first fight with Royce Gracie, where he caught me in a gi choke. Mm-hmm. And the referee didn't see it, and Royce let go. I mean, he did what I did with Kimbo. He let go.
Right.
Get the call. But the referee didn't see it. And so Royce looks at me and goes, you tapped. And I'm going, I don't want to say it. I do not want to say this. But I did. Mm-hmm. And I knew I did. And it came out of my mouth. I tapped. I couldn't believe I said it. I couldn't believe I was in that situation. But I said it.
Okay.
And I remembered, even through the press conferences after that, I knew I did the right thing, but it hurt because I wanted to win that fight too. Mm. And I went back and said it never happened again, and it didn't. Now I'm here 23 years later in a similar situation, but it's the other way around, where Royce Gracie is the one that has the integrity to step up and do the right thing. Is he going to? And that is my question, because he threw that knee. That knee was intentional. Whether it was thrown with any direction or whether he did it on purpose. Either way, he's responsible for that strike. And he needs to be the one to step up and say, you know what? I need him. I know I did. I will give him a rematch. Period. Okay. That's what should happen.
Now, you also recently filed a complaint against the TDLR. And I want to make sure our viewers understand that you have an issue with Royce, which we're going to discuss again at length. But let's also talk about sort of the legal aspect to it, the TDLR complaint.
Yeah, we filed that 2 days after the fight. I know a lot of people had asked questions of why I didn't this or why I didn't say more or why I wasn't more vocal. And I learned a long time ago that you do not make statements or decisions or accusations or statements when you're in a high volatile situation and your temper's up, your emotions are up. So I really just calmed down with that. But I went through the proper way to file the paperwork, get the paperwork in. We got the doctor's report because there was some damage done. So we got the doctor's report so that we have the video and that we have the statement that we filed, and we have the video footage and also the doctor's report, and to file all of that. And all we can do is wait and see what happens. And I want to make a thing here is like, we're human beings. Every single one of us is a human being. And the minute that we think that we can't make a mistake is when we start hiding things, is when we start trying to protect ourselves, thinking that but if they find out I made a mistake, then people are human. Everybody makes mistakes. But when you make them, the difference between succeeding and being a responsible human being is that you go and you fix it. You make it right. Because there's nobody on this earth that's perfect. So you're going to make mistakes. Let's fix it, man. That's all I'm saying is let's fix it.
I was curious because I watched the fight over and over again. After the cage interviews, Royce and you had a discussion in the cage immediately following the interviews. Can you tell us what Royce said to you?
Yeah, normally I wouldn't do that, but in this case, I think it's probably something that it needs to be said because he's already said that. Not the first part, but the second part. And the first part is he said, "Hey, Ken, me and you built this. They wouldn't be here if me and you hadn't been in the ring and built this." And I looked at him and I said, "Yeah, you're right." And he goes, "But you fought in no holds barred. You know all this stuff." He says, "You should have been prepared for that." I looked at him and I was like, did he just say that? Did he really just say that? Like, he's basically saying, yeah, I threw it. I hit you. No big deal. You should have been okay. It's like, and then he goes and says it in the press conference.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you for real? So if I walk up and I just throw a kick right into your groin, that's okay. It's no problem. You'll be prepared for it.
It's interesting because I want to read a quote from the Gracie camp that came out after the fight. And I quote Royce saying, and his camp, "I'm very happy. That was my first knockout. But I was telling Ken, we come from an era where there was no time limit, no weight division, no gloves, no rules. Groin shots were allowed, but it did not catch his groin." What is your response to that?
I don't have one. What am I going to say? I mean, I think the evidence is there. It's pretty clear. And he knew he did it, even by his response after the fight. All he's doing now is burying himself because what you need to realize is that people know you did it. Whether you did it on purpose or not, me and you know what really happened. We're both professionals. I think we have a pretty good idea of what happened. The understanding here is that you're burying yourself because you did what you did. You know you did it. You admitted to it. And now you're trying to lie about it? Dude, get a grip.
Interesting. I also want to educate our fans a little bit about how the process with the TDLR works. So I contacted Sue Stanford. She's the public information officer at TDLR for a comment. And here's what she had to say. The enforcement investigator is now in the process of performing a thorough investigation. Upon completion of the investigation, he will send his findings to an enforcement prosecutor. The prosecutor will determine whether TDLR should begin the judicial process. Wow, Ken, pretty complicated. Sounds sort of like a story from America's Most Wanted, a show I used to cover. Or what is your response to that? Do you feel like the TDLR is moving forward with the investigation? Have you been told personally how long it will take?
I haven't been told anything. I have a legal representation, and of course, Des Woodworth, who is my business partner, is in talks with my attorney, Rod Donna, who is actually handling the case right now. I fully believe that the referee, he's a good dude. Everything I've heard about him, because that's where my guy is, and Dave, the guy at my trainer, is where I train at. And everything I heard about him is that he's a good guy. And I believe he missed the call. And I could see how that could happen because of the knee that came off the shoulder where it hit the head. He was on the opposite side. Head went over. Didn't hit my head. But from where he was at, I could see that. I know people are screaming. He was right there, right there. But I could see how he could miss that because it happens fast. Mm-hmm. So I think now that he's seen the footage and all the things that's going on, I know what he's going to do. I mean, I'm pretty positive. He's not going to say, yeah, I missed the call because it's pretty clear he did. Okay. Doesn't mean he's a bad guy. He's a professional. He knows who he is and what he's done over the years. So I really truly believe that's what's going to happen. He's going to say, yeah, I missed the call. And that's if we have gone through the right proceedings like they say they're doing right now, and they do go to him and ask him. He will make, I'm positive he's going to say, yeah, I missed the call. And then we will go through the proceedings from that point.
Interesting you mentioned the fact that he might have missed the call, because sitting and watching the fight, there were many people and many announcers, and the Twitter feed was ablaze with the fact that you were sort of lying on immediately following the fight, saying that you had not been, saying that the viewers and maybe the refs and of course some of the people on Twitter that were watching were not in agreement with the fact that you had been kicked in the groin. And then that replay comes on, which it's too bad it wasn't earlier. Too bad we don't have instant replay like they do in football. And you can clearly see that that was a very, very strong kick. Very strong kick.
Yeah, it was definitely intentional. I'm not talking about it being in the groin, but it was definitely an intentional knee that was supposed to be thrown very hard and without a care. And I felt it. There's no question. And again, as you speak, it was a delay. And I think it's hard sometimes for people to understand that a lot of people are going to react differently. Me, I'm a tough guy. I almost thrive on pain. I mean, I almost get my adrenaline going when I feel it. So there's a lot of people that are going to do that. And the ones that usually do that are going to be the ones that are going to really react to something a little bit later than most.
Right.
And that's, for me, I don't know how somebody can actually penalize or say something about somebody who actually withstands something longer than somebody else. How is that a weird or bad thing now? I don't get that, because we know it was a low knee. I mean, we know it, and we know that the direction of it was definitely, thrown hard. And so for me, I just hear that stuff, and I'm like, so you're just supposed to drop like a sack of crap, and then just whatever happens, or you're supposed to try to fight through it and see what happens. So you got the adrenaline flowing. I mean, you're intense. You're going at something happens. I mean, it's like, it's hard sometimes when I hear people talk like that to not want to just scream at them, but I get it. They don't understand. It's uneducational. And I get it when you really don't know what's what, how you can almost have an opinion that you believe is 100% correct and you're not going to change from it without having the facts.
So I want to make sure I completely understand what's going on in your mind at this time. Earlier on, when I was watching some of the post-fight interviews and some of the interviews this week that came out with, you seem to be very angry at the ref. It sounds more like at this time right now, in this interview, that you're more angry at the Royce Gracie than you are at the ref.
I think that's a fair assumption on the way that it was handled up to this point. I was angry because I felt like the rest of the world that it was pretty easy to see. Once I looked back at the tape, that's why I calmed down when I got angry, because I realized that you can't do that. You can't do that. And that's why I apologized for that to Royce and to them. But only that. And now that I know why, because as I watched the tape, I could really see how the referee missed the call.
Missed it, right.
I get it, and how all that delayed reaction, how that could cause him to think that it was actually the knee that put me down. But when you look at the replay now and you actually slow it down, it's not. So it would be the same thing as me reacting to the referee when it first happened, and me going and look at the replay and go, oh, hey, wait a minute. Now, I could see that wasn't his fault. He could have missed that, no problem.
Right.
We're all human beings, as opposed to the same thing with the knee and the way the reaction on that with the slowness, the knee hitting, knee going down, how he could miss that. What we have to do, like I said earlier, though, is that understand that we can make mistakes. I made the mistake. He made the mistake. The difference is I'm willing to go back and correct it. Are you?
Yeah, good point. I had mentioned a few minutes earlier in our interview that a lot of people were on Twitter that night, and I want to read you some quotes now from just a few of the Twitters and comments that came out, because it was really ablaze. These particular two are from two fighters. Anthony Johnson tweeted this: "Thank you, and yeah, you were hit on the groin. Can't deny that, and it should be no contest. I don't get the delayed reaction." And Roy Big Country Nelson posted this on his Facebook page: The last Bellator MMA fight was better than last. Scott Coker, we need a rematch. Real Royce and Ken Shamrock with gi and no time limits. Were you surprised by the amount of support you got on Twitter and the fact that these two fighters were commenting so quickly, really?
No, I mean, I was surprised that they jumped on as quick as they did, but I'm very, very, very happily surprised because I think that it's pretty clear when you watch it, you know, especially when you first see it, and the negative reaction I got, because when you first saw it, you didn't see the knee. And then after, when you see it, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, oh man, yeah, I was wrong. Dude, yeah, you got kneed. So the people that are the ones that are respectful and honorable and have the integrity are the ones going, yeah, man, I thought you were bull. I thought it was bull when you got hit because you were, we didn't see it. Now that we saw it, yeah, you got hit. My bad. But you get the ones that took a stand on it first, and now they don't want to let go of that stand because they're wrong. It's like, who cares? Who cares? Everybody makes mistakes. It seems like people want to lock onto that and go, no, I saw this first, so that's what happened. Mm-hmm. And then if they get something, information that proves that it's wrong, they don't want to accept that.
I also have this question from a fan on Twitter for you. The Warrior Kinsell at Warrior Sports wants to know, is it time to retire?
Yeah, I think it's getting pretty close, no question. I know where I'm at. It's not a surprise to me. I can look myself in the mirror. I'm pretty fair about where I'm at. But this has never been about me trying to be a world champion or be a ranked fighter. It's about me going out there and entertaining myself and entertaining fans and having fun. That's what this has been about. And I think when people can grasp onto that concept, I think it's hard for them to, especially if you're a young athlete and you're competing in MMA. You don't know what that is yet. So I get it, because I was there. I would be going, yeah, I don't know either. But I am where I'm at now. So I'm in a different stage of my life where I'm fit enough, I'm in shape enough, I'm healthy enough. I'm not going to go out there and get myself hurt. So I can go out there and compete at what I like doing, not fishing, golfing, or hunting. I do this. It's fun for me. Right. And the fans still want to see me do it. I mean, I just broke record numbers again, once again, with another opponent.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. So I'm not delusional in the fact that I'm still going in the ring and I'm still competing and people still want to see me fight. It's not delusional. So if I can do that, tell me what person in their right mind would love to be able to retire from what they do and still do what they do and get paid for it and have fun doing it. How many people wouldn't like to go fishing and get paid for it, or hiking, or hang gliding, or jumping out of an airplane parachuting, or whatever it is that you like doing, and you get to go do that and get paid? Well, that's what it's like for me right now. I get to go do what I like doing. I'm getting paid for it.
I just have one other follow-up question regarding to Royce. Has anyone in your organization tried to contact them now that the fight is over to find out if he is open to a potential rematch?
Well, I think that with the position that we're in right now, I think Royce has made it pretty clear on where he stands. He's basically smiling and happy and excited and thrilled that he got out of the fight, in my opinion. And it's just my opinion. It's not a fact. That he's pretty happy where he's at right now. And if he doesn't have to get back in the ring with me, he's not going to. I personally, and I think millions of other people out there who think the same way, is that how do you smile and have the attitude that you have when you know with everything that has happened to this point? I already say he knew what he did, so let's just cut that part out. Just to say, let's go with what we have with the facts right now. How is a person, a fighter, that, and I know a lot of them out there, who would be happy with this kind of decision? Right. And nobody, none of them, anybody that I ever talked to would say no. I would accept the win. I mean, if they wanted me to win, but I would admit, I'd say, hey, yeah, I need him. I mean, it was an accident. And would want a rematch. I don't know any fighter that wouldn't do that, especially knowing with the video evidence and all the things that we have at our fingertips right now, and he knows what he did, of why you would be so happy about getting a win like that. I have my opinion on it, but I don't know, figured out, I guess fans can make their own judgment, and I think they have, but Royce needs to stop doing this, man. He's hurting himself. He's really, really hurting himself.
Well, I know that the fans and many of us would love to see a rematch, that's for sure. Before I go today, is there anything else you want to add today, Ken?
Yeah. I don't, like I said, it feels like I'm beating a dead horse, but I just want people to know where I'm at in my position and how much this bothers me and hurts me, because I love what I do. I fought Kimbo. I came in with a Bellator company that needed ratings, and we blew it up, me and Kimbo both. I went in there, took Kimbo down, caught his back, and I choked him and he tapped. Whether it was a light tap, a tiny tap, an individual tap, but in our rules it says a tap's a tap, period. You go back on video footage and you look to see whether he tapped. And any expert's going to tell you that was a tap. It wasn't a hard tap, but he tapped. He goes into a press conference after the fight's over. And he says to the press, yeah, I was going out, but Shamrock let go. Yeah, well, that's because you tapped. You're able to get your conscience back. Forget that, right? I put it behind me. I get Royce Gracie.
Yeah.
Let's go get Royce Gracie. We put our work in. We draw numbers. We break records. We get in there. We fight Royce. And I'm sitting looking at another situation in which I went and did my job. I had the outcome that I thought I was going to get with everything that we were doing was working right to plan. Everything that I thought, get it clinched. I know from the clinch that Royce is now in trouble. And then I get a low knee to the groin, which incapacitates me. He jumps on me and starts hammer fisting me, and they stop the fight. So here I am, 2 fights in Bellator, 0-2. And I'm looking at this thing, looking at, in my mind, the replay of everything that had happened, and I can't seem to put it all together. I don't know how this is happening, but somewhere along the line, MMA, because it's not just Bellator that's having issues with different things of these natures, but we better figure this out.
Yeah.
Better figure it out, because we can't keep having stuff like this happen. It's not fair to the fighters who put in the hard work and sacrifice, and it's not fair to the fans.
I know in other organizations, Dana White's been very verbal as well about his discontent, so to speak, with some of the ref calls. And actually, recently there was an issue where it should have been called earlier and the fighter was in harm's way, so to speak. So that and the other issue I'd like to see fixed, and there probably is no solution for this, but those finger pokes with the finger, with the open gloves are just always devastating to watch. And it's just so dangerous for the fighter, because the fighter can really lose their eye. Before we go today, I want to let our viewers know that I did try to contact Jacob Montalvo, the rep, and he has not responded yet, and I will be trying him again. Bellator officials spoke with me, and they got back to me right away, but unfortunately, because it's an ongoing investigation, they weren't able to comment at this time. Ken Shamrock, thank you so much for your time, and I do hope we see you back in the cage very soon.
Well, thank you so much. God bless you, and God bless the fans.